All right, this should be a quick one, I hope, about the cell wall. So it says, I can describe the cell wall. Generally, when we're talking about structures in biology, describe means tell the structure and function. So when we are talking about cell walls, what you're going to have is you're going to have two plant cells, and they have a cell membrane, and then around that cell membrane, they're going to have a cell wall, okay? And this cell wall is actually made up of several different parts. There's like a primary cell wall, a secondary cell wall. We don't really go into all that. There's also some gluey type stuff. That's probably not really a word, gluey. Anyway, kind of like glue, adhesive, called the middle lamella. I kind of think of it kind of like toothpaste. That's not like glue, but for some reason I just picture it as pasty like that. But anyway, and it's going to actually hold these two cell walls together. But the cell wall itself is made up of different things. If you were a prokaryote, let's say you were some strep, you're about to go infect somebody and give them strep throat, then you would have a cell wall made of peptidoglycan. And we've talked about gram-positive and gram-negative and how one has a thicker peptidoglycan wall and one has a thinner. But peptido tells us it's a protein, glyc tells us it's a sugar, so this is basically made of carbohydrates and proteins linked together. Fungi have a cell wall made of chitin. I know it looks like chitin, it's not, it's chitin. And chitin is a carbohydrate, so it is a polysaccharide, so a bunch of monosaccharides put together. It is actually the same thing that when you step on a roach and it goes crunch, it's disgusting, I know, that is chitin. So a lot of insects, their exoskeleton is made of chitin. So fungi have cell walls made of chitin. It's not as crunchy as an insect's chitin, but it's the same basic concept of a molecule, okay? And then plants, their cell walls are made of a couple of different things, but cellulose is the main ingredient. And cellulose is actually the most common molecule on Earth. Because it is so abundant in plants, and plants are so abundant on Earth. So, and they're big. Like there's a bunch of insects as well, but they're tiny. So plants can be really large. So anyway, cellulose is, there's also lignin. Sometimes there's other molecules in there as well. So lignin gives it a lot of structure. But cellulose is found in every plant cell's cell wall. And so that is structure. So you don't have to go into a lot of details. Oh, another thing you might want to know is that there are little holes in this called plasmodesmata. And so if you were a sheep, we'll go with a sheep, and you're grazing on some grass, and let's say you bite down, that's supposed to be teeth, imagine, I know my art's bad. You bite down on this plant cell, it can actually release a hormone that goes through its plasmodesmata and through, so it'll go out through its plasmodesmata and in through the next cell's plasmodesmata to let this cell know that the plant is being attacked or grazed upon. And so it can actually communicate through hormones just like we do. And it uses those plasmodesmata for that as well. So cell wall structure, really firm structural thing, but it is the components of it are firm, I should say. They're strong, and it gives the cells support and extra protection. And these are what it's made out of. And then you've got those plasmodesmata to help the cell communicate. And that's it. I hope that helps. If you have any questions, let me know.